Welcome to the Best of the Monty Show 2023, presented by our friends at soundsleepmedical.com. Before we get into it, I want to remind you, there's a big difference between snoring and sleep apnea. Every night in this country, people go to bed with sleep apnea and they never wake up because it stops you from breathing. You know, if you have sleep apnea and you wake up and you're, or your spouse wakes you up because you're snoring loudly and gasping for air, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to be embarrassed anymore. You don't have to sleep away from your wife or your husband. All you have to do is get to soundsleepmedical.com/Monty and sign up for their free sleep evaluation. No embarrassment. It's completely discreet. What they're going to do is tell you, hey, are you just somebody who snores or do you have sleep apnea? In any case, they're going to fit you for a custom mouthpiece that's going to move your lower jaw forward, clearing your airway so you can get that sleep you need. I'm begging you, do it right now, don't delay. Sleep apnea kills Americans every single night. Don't be the next one. Get to soundsleepmedical.com.
Treat snoring and sleep apnea with no masks and no tubes. Just better, healthier sleep with Sound Sleep Medical. Use code MONTY, M-O-N-T-Y, to schedule a free sleep assessment today.
The Monty Show.
Florida State getting screwed by the College Football Playoff Committee. And I guess here's my question. And this is something that I've struggled with for a long time, and we've talked about it openly on the show. Do rules matter? That's the question that I have. And I guess they don't, because whether you're Michigan cheating, whether you're Florida State, whether you're elections or whatever it might be, apparently when things don't go your way, the rules don't matter. Because the hardest part, and we always do it this way, we did it with Ohio State, we did it with Michigan, and now we're going to do it with Florida State. There was not a single rule broken by the College Football Playoff Committee when it comes to choosing somebody other than Florida State. It states specifically in the college football selection process, the College Football Playoff Committee has a selection process that has a specific stipulation for injured players. I don't know about you. I watched the ACC championship game on Saturday, and that was not one of the four best teams in the country. Jake, did Florida State get screwed by the College Football Playoff Committee?
There's not a chance that they got screwed. And I think the biggest thing right now is that Florida State fan wants to claim that they're a victim or that somehow they got cheated or robbed or, somehow that there was a different standard set to them versus any of the other teams that got selected. And so, over the weekend, I'm on X, on Twitter, and I'm arguing with people and I'm having conversations. And the main thing that I think Florida State fan is griping about is the fact that you were an undefeated conference champion. And somehow that should auto bid you into the college football playoff. And I'm here to tell you, nothing auto bids you into the college football playoff. Yes, is there a common denominator that, hey, the other three were undefeated or one-loss conference champions? Okay, sure. But the point is that winning your conference doesn't just automatically mean you get in, but it helps your case. The thing that you can't run from is that because Jordan Travis blew up his leg, you're not one of the four best teams. And it seems so cut and dry to me. And maybe it's because I'm not a Seminole fan. Maybe it's because I'm not, bought into the whole Mike Norvell experience or whatever. I'm not bought into the soft-ass ACC schedule that you played all year long. Maybe that's what the difference is. But for me, I just don't think that this is that difficult. And by the way, while we're talking about the ACC, Florida State, my biggest problem with you is that you're playing both sides of the fence. Earlier this year, you wanted to blow up the ACC. You said that you weren't getting, your proper share of TV revenue and that, this is a crap conference and you wanted to leave. And now because you got, you didn't get selected in the College Football Playoff Committee, you want to say, hey, guys, we played an ACC schedule. We're an undefeated conference champion. This is a great conference, a Power 5 conference. And I'm just simply sitting here saying it's a bad look to try and have it both ways. We didn't just magically forget that you wanted to leave your conference earlier in the year. We didn't just magically forget that you had disdain for your position in college football. So let's not then try to just skip over that fact. You want special treatment. The reality is you're not better than the SEC. you're not better than the Pac-12. You're not even better than the Big 12, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue here is you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to, that senators writing letters on your behalf. And I'd love to understand, like, we have a U.S. Senator in Rick Scott demanding information, and I want transparency. You're a U.S. Senator. We have bigger fish to fry than the college football playoff. And I understand you're not happy with the outcome. There are no rules violations to be going after. Fix the issues in our country. Then maybe we can talk about your football fandom. I look at Mike Norvell's statement. I'm disgusted and infuriated with the committee's decision today to have what was earned on the field taken away because of a small group of people decided they knew better than the results of the game. Okay, that small group of people. What rule did they violate? Where's the rule that they flagrantly ignored? Because again, their job, and this is what I love about statements like this, their job was not to make sure that the undefeated team got into the college football playoff. The commission's decision today to have what was earned on the field taken away. It wasn't earned on the field. Where does it say earned on the field in the college football playoff committee? It doesn't say earned on the field. Their job was to find the 4 best teams in the country. I have heard, and it's all Florida State fans on the other side of it, I've heard very few people make the argument that this Florida State team without Jordan Travis is better than Alabama, Texas, Washington, or Michigan. Nobody with any credibility is making that argument. And I'm asking you, where is the specific rule, Florida State fan, that was broken by the college football playoff committee? That we have a senator taking time away from his constituents and the business of this country to get involved in the college football playoff because the BCS wasn't good enough and we have to have a playoff system. Well, now you got a playoff system and you want to bitch and moan about that too. It's never good enough. It's never good enough. Michigan cheated. They don't deny it, yet somehow a rule was broken. Okay, I'm over it. I'm so massively sick and tired of the fact that we put a rule in place, and as soon as somebody doesn't like it, they want to sue and they want to get litigious, and we've got to get a senator involved. Get out of here. I'm so over it. Like Mike Alford's statement, the athletic director at Florida State, the argument of whether a team is the most deserving or best is a false equivalence. It renders the season up to yesterday irrelevant. No, it actually really is not a false equivalent, Mike. It isn't. And the most delicious part of Florida State saying, hey, we got screwed and this system sucks. Isn't that the same thing you guys are saying about the ACC? When you're over here trying to blow up the grants of rights in the ACC and you're just rolling on about how you deserve better. Well, now all of a sudden the rules have been followed precisely and you deserve better. Somehow Florida State finds itself on the wrong end every single time and they deserve better. The problem is you deserve what you've earned, and you haven't earned the designation as one of the 4 best teams in the country. That's the bottom line. You're not. Without Jordan Travis, you're not better than Alabama. Without Jordan Travis, you're not better than Texas. Without Jordan Travis, you're not better than Washington and Michigan. You're simply not. And I don't know how else to spin that. I watched that game on Saturday, and I saw a Louisville team and a Florida State team play by far one of the worst conference championship performances, save Iowa's disappearing act, that I had seen in many years.
Facts.
How can, and again, I'm asking point blank because you have the hypocrite, A.D. Alford at Florida State saying the fact that this team has continued to close out victories in dominant fashion facing our current quarterback situation should have enhanced our case to get a playoff berth earned. What dominant performance did you put in over the weekend? Because I didn't see that. And if I missed it, somebody please feel free to inform me, what dominant performance did we get out of Florida State this weekend in that mighty 16-6 performance where you threw for a grand total of what? 55 yards. You passed for a grand total of 55 yards.
Oh, but it's a dominant performance.
And you think your quarterback threw for 55 yards, and you think you are one of the 4 best teams in the country.
Hey, how many yards did Texas throw for over the weekend? Because the numbers say it was 494 yards, bro. And you're over here with 55 yards, and you think that you should be in over them or Bama.
I am amazed that when we're talking about Florida State, you get comments like this. Florida State had more yards than Michigan. So you truly think, Marcus, Florida State's better than Michigan. That's what this comment says, that you think Florida State's better than Michigan. What college football have you been watching? Explain to me, in what world is Florida State by any metric better than Michigan? No, I can't think of one either. Because Florida State, I might say head to head, 100% every single player across the board. Florida State's not better with or without Jordan Travis than Michigan is.
That'd be America's team.
It's this kind of ridiculous comment that makes you understand rules just don't matter anymore. Everybody's opinion is fact. Rules don't matter anymore. I mean, it's amazing to me that you want to make the argument that Florida State's better than Michigan. You really want to make that argument? Without their 2 best quarterbacks, Florida State's better than Michigan. You think without their 2 best quarterbacks, which is what Florida State was when this announcement was made, you truly believe that Florida State's one of the 4 best teams in the country? Without their 2 top quarterbacks, with a freshman who looked like he was still in high school.
Because it's garbage.
You're going to make the argument that Florida State's one of the 4 best teams in the country. With Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Bama, all of them healthy. And 3 of those 4, exclude Michigan because Free Harbaugh is not an elite quarterback, in my opinion. But you look at Penix, you look at Quinn. Quinn Ewers had 354 passing yards in the first half. In the first half, Quinn Ewers put up 354 yards passing. And you're trying to make the argument that you're one of the 4 best teams? You're trying to make the argument that Michael Penix Jr., who just beat a really good Oregon team for the 2nd time, and you think somehow that Florida State without Jordan Travis belongs in over them?
Please.
Belongs in over Quinn Ewers in Texas? Belongs in over Jalen Milroe in Alabama, who Jalen Milroe just continues to make play after play. That Alabama defense, who I would remind you, because you want to talk about people wanting to knock down teams, because here's the other thing we do. Oh, my God, Florida State's not in. Alabama sucks. I would remind you that they just beat Georgia, the gold standard in college football, for the last 2.5 years. And all of a sudden, no, Alabama sucks. Florida State should be in. In what world are you living that you think that Alabama team is going to lose to this Florida State team? I'm just curious. Because the bar is not earned on the field.
It's not undefeated. The bar's never been undefeated.
Deserving. Their job in the college football playoff committee is the 4 best teams, not the 4 best matchups, not the 4 best TV numbers, not the best stories. Their opinion, who are the 4 best teams, because those are the 4 best teams getting in. And they have a rule that specifically says, hey, if you have an injury, we can consider that, and whether or not you're one of the 4 best teams. So again, Marcus, the great, tell me how Florida State's better than Michigan. Because that never happened. That in nobody's opinion did that ever happen. C Black for $20. Clearly a Florida State fan. With Jordan Travis, Florida State is the best team in the country. You don't believe that. Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, first-round receivers. Trey Benson, a top 3 running back. Jaheim Bell to 3 tight ends in the draft. Great O-line, best defense in the country.
Against who?
It is, first of all, and I'm all here. We've talked about verse on this show at length. I'm here for the Florida State defense. It's not Ohio State's defense. I don't believe it's Michigan's defense. And I certainly don't believe that it's Texas or Alabama's defense. I don't. And maybe you could have the argument about Texas. I was a little surprised at some of the leaks in their defense. They cleaned those up at the half. You're not Alabama's defense. You're not Michigan's defense. And I'm pretty certain you're not Ohio State's defense. Those are 3 elite defenses. Are you a very good defense? Yes. But much to Jake's point, the ACC, and again, I just ask you, Florida State fan, you're always the victim here. You're always the victim here. You're even answering with Jordan Travis. Well, the problem is, what about without Jordan Travis?
Treat snoring and sleep apnea with no masks and no tubes. Just better, healthier sleep with Sound Sleep Medical. Use code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, to schedule a free sleep assessment today.
Yeah, because you're not. You're not. That's my exact point. Big Blue Horses for $5. Other snub no-loss teams include Utah, Boise, Auburn, UCF, Penn State, and TCU, to name a few. Media can suck it. Want fairness? No more no human judges. But nobody liked the BCS either. Nobody liked the BCS either. Do you guys understand that it's never going to be good enough for anybody? Because we put rules in place and you still complain that, oh, this isn't good enough. We got hosed. You didn't get hosed.
It's incredible to me that you can't just say, yeah, we did go undefeated. We didn't win the ACC, but unfortunately the injury to Jordan Travis came at a really tough time. And that really hurts our team's value to the committee. And I understand why, hey, our defense may be really good, but our defense alone is just half of the football. If you're not going to have your offense at full bore, we're not one of the best teams. And it's because of an injury, and that's unfortunate. Why do you get a free pass?
And what's really unfortunate is we're not talking about how difficult this must be for Mike Norvell and his football team. We're talking about senators from Florida and the great injustice and process. How bad do you feel for Jordan Travis today? That's got to be the worst pain in the world. Your ankle feels fine. It's your humility that took a beating. That's what's painful, is those kids worked really hard, had a great season, and because of Jordan Travis's injury, they're not going to the college football playoff. And yet we're going to sit here and we're going to have Florida State, oh, we got screwed. Okay, you got screwed. Again, and Seminole fan, I ask you directly, when you say you got screwed, what process law rule was broken where the injustice was served against you?
But we're an undefeated conference champion. Our defense is amazing.
Okay, show me where's the paragraph that says our defense is amazing, gets you into the college football playoff? Where's the paragraph that says undefeated conference champion? Oh, that's next year when the automatic qualifiers come out. So next year what's going to be the injustice next year?
That Clemson was better than you?
This is my struggle. And I don't even think Clemson will be better than you. At some point, when do we go back to a real world where we live by results that were had by the rules? When are we going to stop defending Michigan, who won't defend itself? When are we going to say, well, hey, guys, you broke these rules. Yeah, we know, but we're going to sue anyway. And I'm telling you, it's across the board. It's across the board. It's, guys like Rick Scott and other senators buying stock on insider trading.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to talk about that. Well, but Florida State got screwed. It's elections. It's all of this stuff where we just don't follow rules anymore unless they help us. But if that rule goes against us, Florida State's got screwed, and we need our senator to talk about, we're going to subpoena, and I want access, and get out of here. Go do, Your state's got so many problems. Go handle that, man. Go handle that. Like, you're worried about the college football playoff? You're worried about NIL? You're worried about, like, go govern, man. Go govern. I'm so fed up with it's never good enough. When is it ever going to be good enough? At least in the comments section, at least tell me you hear my frustration on this, that it's never good enough. Somebody's always going to sue, subpoena this, subpoena that. A rule's a rule. And just like Michigan, again, just weeks ago, just like Michigan, you can't point to the process or the rule that was broken. There's no injustice. Maybe the rules just didn't break in your favor this time. And maybe you should act like the noble, professional, normal level mentality people you're not. Oh, wait, that's right. You're not. So no. you're gonna talk about, how tough you are, and you're gonna release statements. Do you guys understand how just absolutely ridiculous this statement is? For many of us today, and again, this is Michael Alford, the athletic director at Florida State. For many of us, today's decision by the committee has forever damaged the credibility of the institution that is the college football playoff. Well, then don't fucking take part. We don't ever want to see Florida State in the college football playoff community, where you're just, because there's no credibility here, much like this statement. So you're never going to take part again, right? It's forever damaged. The credibility of the college football playoff is forever damaged. You're never going to take part in this again. Is that correct? Oh, you're not doing interviews. That's right. Nobody can ask you because you're the tough guy that hides behind your statement. It's amazing. Alford continued, quote, "They chose predictive competitiveness over proven performance, subjectivity over fact. They have become a committee of prognosticators." Well, sir, they're human beings, and you voted to have your representation. Go complain to NC State. Go complain to Boo Corrigan. He's the guy who had a vote here. Go complain to Boo Corrigan. Don't release statements saying that the college football playoff is forever damaged and lacks credibility. Okay, well, then I don't ever want to see you competing for it. And if you wouldn't mind, make a call to the ACC and have them return the money, because you don't want that unethical money come flowing through Tallahassee, right? I mean, you don't want that. You can't have that at the State University of Florida. We can't have unethical, dirty money because, it's got no... Sure, you'll be happy to cash those checks.
Absolutely.
If you ever make it, won't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you will. I'm so fed up with this. I'm amazed that
we've lost the ability to lose with grace. Meaning, hey, this could have been a coaching opportunity, right? This could have been a growth moment. Like, you look at Norvell's statement, or even Jordan Travis, or whatever, like any of these guys, like, this could have been an opportunity to show leadership, to say, yeah, you know what? I am, I'm upset with the decision, but, we had an untimely injury to, one of our best players, a guy who, I thought should have been in the Heisman Trophy conversation, and he's our quarterback, and it's amazing. And, it's unfortunate that he got hurt, but he did get hurt. And because of that, we didn't put up as many points in our conference championship game as we would have liked to, but we still won the game, and we still are ACC champions. So, barring an injury, we would have been in the college football playoff, but we're not. And we're going to handle that, and we're going to move on to the next opportunity that we have. Why can't we just say that? Why can't we just say, hey, look, the process clearly lays out that this committee was put in place to figure out who are the 4 best teams, and next year the 12 best teams to get in to compete for a college football national championship. And it clearly stipulates that injury can be considered in that conversation. Yet you want to sit here and say that you were robbed and an injustice was committed against you, even though you damn well know that Jordan Travis got carted off with a gruesome ankle injury. You damn well know that you way underperformed in your championship game because you didn't have Jordan Travis, and then because you didn't have Rodemaker, so you had a freshman at quarterback. So let's stop being dramatic. Let's learn how to say, hey, you know what? It didn't work out this time. That's it. It didn't work out this time. We did everything we could do. We're 13-0. We're
really
a conference champion. It's really unfortunate. But here at Florida State, we hold ourselves in really high regard, and we'll get after it next season.
Let's see. Ryan Willie gives us $20 to say it's the ESPN Invitational. Really, I hadn't understood that. I thought it was called the College Football Playoff. ESPN pays for the College Football Playoff, so they feel like they can dictate who's in and who's out. So I'm just curious, where's the evidence of that? This is the other thing I love. Okay, well, man, Florida State's out. We got to find UFOs, biologics. We need them right now to prove that ESPN is colluding with the College Football Playoff.
Human or non-human?
Where's the evidence? Oh, the Kirk Herbstreit picture. Oh, wow. Yeah, here it is. Here it is with, Michigan and Washington and Texas and Alabama. Never mind, that could be a coincidence. But let me ask you this. Do you really think that ESPN didn't know what the outcome of that was before their broadcast? The one that you say they pay so much money for. Do you think they're just they have a bunch of like elves on the shelf who can just make graphics right away? No doubt about it. No, of course they knew. It's a pre-produced broadcast where the committee votes and ESPN announces the vote on their broadcast, which they pay for. So just because ESPN knew ahead of time, of course they did. Do you really think they're in collusion? So just so I'm clear, because you paid $20 for this ridiculousness, your opinion is they feel like they can dictate who's in and out. And I don't care if FSU got screwed or not. If you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten, you're going to get screwed. So then what do you say to Texas and Washington? Because if it was just the SEC and the Big Ten, wouldn't we have had Georgia and Alabama and then Ohio State and Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the college foot. Now I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that's not the college football playoff bracket.
And I think the other thing that's so funny about this Herbstreit thing is this is the same guy, and we played him multiple times last week on the showroom. This is the same guy who goes on this podcast last week talking about how he wants the process to be proper. He wants the 4 best teams. He doesn't want to be nice. He doesn't want to have any type of bias.
No.
I want the 4 best teams that give us the absolute best product on the field. And I truly believe that is what we got this weekend with what was chosen.
So as a guy who calls these games, I don't want to do the right thing. If you talk to Bill Hancock, and we had lots of meetings about this, they're not supposed to do the right thing. They're supposed to, their job is to put the best 4 teams in the playoff. Now, again, it's subjective. Who you think and I think are the best 4 are different, and that's fine. But that's what that group is supposed to do. Not what do we think about ratings? That's bullshit. Put the fucking best 4 teams in the game.
Period.
He says it himself. So when your AD comes out here and puts out a statement talking about how it lacks all credibility and it's subjective, you're damn right it's subjective. That's the task they were given. The task they were given was the 4 best teams, not the right thing, which would have been, oh yeah. So we've got Bama, the SEC champion, Michigan, the Big Ten champion, right? We've got Florida State, the ACC champion, and of course we got Texas. But what about Washington? They're champion. Well, there's not 5 spots, but there were 5 conferences. So what do you say now? This is my point. Your complaint is literally making the point. It's a subjective process. Your quarterback, both 1 and 2, are both out. Number 2 was questionable, come back and wound up not playing because he got whacked in the head. So that's why I say, what are we doing?
I'm just, again, it's what I've said. No rules or process were broken, and your statements point exactly to the fact that the College Football Playoff Committee did precisely what they were charged with doing. Sitting around a table and choosing the 4 best teams in the country by their own opinion.
Hey, dude, if Florida State was a 12-1 conference champion and you were 100% healthy, right? You had Jordan Travis, had the receivers, had everybody, 100%. You were 12-1, and you got snubbed for another 13-0 team, a 13-0 Pac-12 champion instead of you. You'd have been saying, oh, you didn't do the right thing. We're better than them. Well, how can you say that? You're 12-1, not 13-0. So you just want it both ways. And actually, what we should be saying is you want it any way that favors you. And you're going to stop at nothing until you get some type of answer.
And the best part about the comments about how ESPN's colluding with the college football playoff, if they were colluding, would they not stick it to the Pac-12? They're partners. They're partners literally by contract. ESPN is partnered with the ACC. You understand that, right? They're under contract to broadcast ACC games.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they want Florida State in if they were colluding? They're not under contract with the Big Ten. They're not under contract with the Pac-12. Wouldn't they want, hey, let's make sure the SEC gets to, and let's make sure that Florida State gets in, guys. Okay, well, whoever else you want to pick, go ahead. Just remember, collusion, we say they get in. They would put what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you think through the stuff that you say? Open the garage door before you turn
Sometimes
the car
I think
on.
I just say shit. Sample what comes out of my mouth.
Okay, couple more. Let's see how bad it gets. Net neutrality.
Oh.
Remember the last time we put an iffy, underrated FSU team in the playoff? Can't fool us twice, FSU. It doesn't even matter at that point. It's not the last time. It is today.
Which is what I think Florida State fan especially doesn't want to talk about. I'm with you. If you want to say, hey, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we were one of the best teams in the country. Now, that's never been my opinion. I always thought you played a soft schedule, always thought you underperformed, thought you barely scraped by a mediocre-ass Clemson team. But that's just my opinion, right? Maybe I'm wrong. So let's just assume when you were 100% healthy, you were a college football playoff caliber team. We have to get back to being able to say, yeah, you know what? This time it just didn't work out. But our players gave their damnedest. And when I look at Norvell's statement, he talks about how, hey, our players, they busted their ass out there. And, do you tell players it's okay to quit? Well, no, Mike, we don't tell people it's okay to quit. We don't tell people that, it's not worth it to play the game. It is worth it to play the game. And in fact, that's why you're not in the college football playoff. You got hurt trying to get there. And sometimes that's part of it. We don't complain about like other leagues where injuries happen. Dude, we're not complaining tonight when you have a backup starting for the Bengals. We're not complaining about that. It's the NFL.
It's football.
That's what happens.
And football hurts.
Yeah.
Football hurts. Lopes fan Gabe, at least with the BCS, we were left debating the 2 best teams. Now we're debating who are the 4 best teams. What are we doing here? Well, I think it's excellent for college football. That's what we're doing, right? And what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next year when it's a 5-7 mile and we got to debate the 7 best teams left in the country? Do you think this gets better or worse? Or I'm telling you, it doesn't get better. It does not get better.
For all these people saying, well, why don't they just adopt the NFL model? Go to the NFL model where everything's decided on the field and we don't have human beings with all their bias and, subjectivity. That's the catchphrase now. There's subjectivity in these decisions. Yeah, you know what the problem with that is? The NFL doesn't have to worry about P4 or G5. There are way too many teams in college football to adopt the NFL model.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that. And as far as this speech going around, the internet all weekend about how Mike Leach is talking about how he would have had a 64 team, football playoff and all this junk. You're not doing a 64 round March Madness football tournament. You're not doing that. That's just, it takes way too much time. We can't play, 3 football games a week for the same team. That doesn't work.
I'm telling you, the system's not rigged and it works just fine. It works. All this is people in power don't like being told no. And so if there's a rule in place that tells them no, they're just going to try and flip that rule.
By the way, do you hear Georgia?
Plain and simple.
Do you hear Georgia doing what you guys are doing? Georgia's not complaining. Now, did Kirby make his case after the game? Well, sure, because of course that's your responsibility as a head coach to make the best case you can.
But the Georgia senators aren't subpoenaing people.
Yeah, you're not getting your AD sending all these scathing letters and stuff. Like, dude, just stop. Just stop, bro.
C Black for $5. You all really need to go look at the NFL mock drafts this year. To think Michigan, Texas, or Alabama is more talented. Whoever said they were more talented? I never said they were more talented. What did I say? I said they were a better team than you. Alabama's defense is better than Florida State's defense. Michigan and Ohio State and Texas is a better football team than Florida State.
Yes.
It's that simple. Xavier Worthy's injury is a big deal. It's a big deal, man. And I'm just telling, JT Sanders stepped right up, picked up the receiving yards, targets, blocked. Like, I'm just going to ask, have you guys ever heard of Ollie Gordon? Because
Who's that?
I didn't see him Saturday. Oh, he was there. He was there, but he got his ass handed to him by the best defensive line he's seen and might be one of the best defensive lines in the country.
That's right. When you're in the first quarter and you're on the sidelines yelling at the top of your throat to, Texas can go F itself or F Texas, and then you get popped multiple times in the game. Yeah, probably shouldn't be running your mouth against Texas. And I'm just telling you guys, dude, Texas is one of those brands that everyone hates. It's just as Michigan
It is.
I think nobody gives a damn about Washington. Nobody knows Washington. They don't know how good that arm is on Michael Penix. But what I'm telling you is this situation with Florida State needs to stop. It needs to stop, and we need to get some coaching lessons in how to handle this with grace, because we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, totally agree. We do not lose gracefully anymore at all. UW fan Jim says, if it's just the best for, why no Geo? Go Real Dogs. What do you mean, why no Geo? Why would there? So you're killing me. Logan for $2. You're missing the obvious. Florida State is America's team. They are.
Oh.
I mean,
That'd be
forget
America's team.
Forget the Wolverines. It's the Seminoles for sure.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Ryan Willie for $5. Did you see Harbaugh crap himself after he found out they'd play Bama in the college football playoff? Well, they were just glad they didn't have to play Florida State.
Because I know Florida State's the best team in the country.
I did see that the entire room was like, oh.
Via social media.
And then there was like, oh, wait, we need to clap. All right. Oh, we're excited. Okay, who's got Connor's number? Let's get him going.
Sign stealer guy.
It's amazing. They clearly had pain. Hellabilly for $2. The only team screwed by dumb rules is JMU.
Mhm.
Totally agree. C Black for $10 more. You guys need to learn the facts. Jake,
Oh.
if you could learn the facts.
Please learn me,
Jake,
please.
Yes. This narrative started before Travis got hurt with Kirk. Go look at the game day the morning before the injury. Nobody cares about before Jordan Travis got hurt.
And what narrative are you talking about, dude?
Stop playing the victim. The rule is the rule. And again, see, Black, I just ask you directly. There's a stipulation in the selection process that says if you have injured players, we're allowed to consider that. So what rules were broken? And again, if you're going to hang your hat on the subjectivity post, I would remind you, your guy was involved in picking human beings. The ACC is one of the most powerful conferences in the country and has a significant hand, including Boo Corrigan, sitting on the selection committee. So what process screwed Florida State? None. And there is no narrative that's been going on for months to keep Florida State out. If Florida State with Jordan Travis had been undefeated and he was healthy today, you'd be in the college football playoff.
Oh, that's right. But he's not healthy, so you're not.
My guess is Texas would be on the outside looking in.
And then we would be getting letters from Longhorn country.
We would.
Actually, we probably wouldn't, because they're going to the SEC, and this year was just a cherry on top anyway.
Yeah, I'm amazed by it. I am. Ryan Willie, Washington heading to the Big Ten and Texas to the SEC.
Yep.
So you paid $5 for that.
Yay!
Harry Austin, a member for 6 months. Thank you, Harry.
Oh, okay.
You're ignoring that Texas to the SEC and Washington to the Big Ten, so that is why your argument fails on this. Hey, it's the Pac-12. No, it actually doesn't. So wait, let me get this right. The Big 12, who's in business with ESPN contract, well, wait, but they would want to.
Yeah.
Why would you? So What destroys my narrative? Again, I would say Washington to the Big Ten. What time slot in Big Ten football games is on ESPN or ABC? Exactly none. So when they want to keep Washington out, because, well, Washington is just a Pac-10. I mean, when you want to keep Washington out, ESPN, because they're colluding with the college football playoff, which they're not. Why would they want to help Washington get in? They're not in business with the Pac-12 now. And they're only helping the Pac-12 in the future, who they're not in business with either. The Pac-2, the Mountain Pac West, whatever it's going to be. They're not. You are what you are. They're not in business with them. And if you heard the post game where all the Texas fans were chanting SEC, are you really trying to make sure that Texas gets in? I mean, how does that undo my argument? If you were truly trying to help yourself and collude with the college football playoff, I think in any scenario, whether they deserved it or not, you'd have Texas in. The one you'd be arguing about is Washington. You'd be trying to keep Washington out. Washington not only got in, they're the number 2 seed. They're the number 2 seed out of the Pac-12. You're crazy why would ESPN, who's got contracts with everybody but the Big Ten, why would they want Florida State out and Washington in? Why on earth would ESPN want Florida State out? That's the argument, that you're fighting for TV ratings. So what you're saying, Florida State, is you recognize you don't draw the TV ratings that the other 4 do. Oh, it's subjectivity so that they can sell ads. Florida State, you're saying you don't sell ads.
That's bullshit.
And you're saying that you don't bring fans to the TV.
No.
I'm not saying that. Well, actually, isn't that what you said? Because
I'm not talking about that.
You're saying that Texas is a better football brand than you are, and Alabama is a better football brand than you are, because that's why ESPN, that's the only thing that makes sense. Bob Iger's a lot of things. He ain't stupid, so he'd be colluding with to make sure to keep Florida State out. Because nobody watches
what are you talking about, man?
Your games, and you're a small brand. What are you talking about? They would be trying to help you, not hurt you.
You guys are spending so much time justifying why FSU should be in. You're missing the point here, bro.
Very much.
Bro, who's the number 1 seed? America's team. The Michigan Wolverines have found their way through.
Yep.
How is nobody talking about this? How is nobody talking about the coaching job done by Nick Saban this year? This guy's in the college football playoff and had to beat Georgia to do it, and you want to come bark up my tree about an average-ass Florida State team? We're distracted. We're just simply distracted. We're missing the most important conversations in the college football playoff because we have victimhood over here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, totally agree. It's remarkable to me. Let's see. Matt Ritson for $2. Which commissioner, WITCH, was booed after games by the fans? Well, it was Brett Yormark. Was that just you didn't know the answer to that, or
who? I have to say, when I was watching that, that's the first time I've ever seen Brett just a little bit rattled.
He was shook. There's no doubt.
He was rattled.
He was shook. There's no doubt about that. MJ Bissett, only conference champions, you can do it.
No, dude. That's next year.
Yeah, that's not this year. Next year.
So what do you mean?
Duck season for $2. Penix fumbled the ball. Pac-12 ref can rest in peace. Well, the problem for you is Washington was the better team. Washington is the better team. Bo Nix played one of the worst games of the season, and Michael Penix did not. You got beat by a better team.
I did not think that was a fumble.
And Dan Lanning should be apologizing and refunding season ticket deposits because he beat you 2 games in a row against Washington. I think he was terrible again. I think the play calling was terrible again. I think your defense was out of position on several critical situations. And I think that you should probably, and again, this is just my opinion.
Lil Monty over here.
You should probably learn how to run the ball against Washington's front 7 because you got physically dominated up front.
Stay hard.
It had nothing to do with a fumble that wasn't a fumble, even though, again, you're going to say he got screwed by the refs because it couldn't possibly be Washington was a better team. And they beat you twice in a row.
Have a nice day.
Because they were the better team. Pretty cut and dry. UW fan Jim, if Duck cries in the rain, does anyone care? They don't. They don't. Tarrant County, Pete. Hey, Pete.
Oh, God.
FSU is this year's Cincinnati.
Oh, God.
The committee has learned their lesson on perfect records against lesser competition.
On to Cincinnati.
But again, I don't think this has anything to do with their competition.
Treat snoring and sleep apnea with no masks and no tubes. Just better, healthier sleep with Sound Sleep Medical. Use code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, to schedule a free sleep assessment today.
It is very clear when you have a true freshman who looked terrified, speaking of pissing himself, he looked terrified, and you couldn't throw the ball 55 yards.
How?
You're not one of the 4 best teams in the country.
But wait, you have all your running backs, right? Because this is the defense. Hey, we've got our defense, and we've got our Keon Colemans and our Johnny Travis, and we've got our running backs. But you only put up, what was it, 16 points? And threw for 55
to 6 in one of the worst games I've ever watched at a championship level.
So if you were such a complete team and such a dominant team, as I believe it, your AD said, we had a dominant performance in the ACC championship game.
Johnny Wilson, 2 catches, 21 yards.
Jesus, that is the most dominating thing I've never seen.
Keon Coleman, 4 for 19 yards. And it's so I'm just going to be redundant again. If Jordan Travis was healthy and you won this game, my guess is you probably would have scored twice as many points.
Yeah, you're probably 35 points in this game.
And you'd be in the college football playoff.
Yes.
That simple. It has nothing to do with people hating Florida State, even though they do.
Nothing to do with Cincinnati or ESPN colluding.
Just saying. You can't, when you look at Florida State, and here's something else that Florida State fan on Twitter did not want to talk about yesterday. What's the big win for you? Well, non-con, it's LSU. Okay, LSU, the amazing LSU Tigers, who were a 3-loss team this year. That doesn't help you, right? So then it's Southern Miss, Clemson on the road, decent, not great win. Clemson was a 4-loss team. Syracuse, Duke was a 5-loss team. Wake, Pitt, Miami, directional Alabama, Florida, who you struggled to beat. And again, I would remind you that Florida, Urban, they're not coming through that door anytime soon. I mean, not to be the bearer of bad news, they're a 7-loss team. And you almost became their not 7th, like the 6-6.
By the way, if you're such a great team, even though you looked awful against Florida, but if you're such a great team, prove it. Georgia's coming. You're meeting Georgia in Florida, right? Hard Rock Stadium, Miami. Show me that you can lose by less than 20 to that team, because I'm telling you that ain't happening. That team's putting 40 on you. I am confident in that. You think that team's just going to roll in there and be like, yeah, man, we got Sabinated, so season's over. You think they're not looking to prove a point? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yep. Tom Dean, Sagarin computer strength of schedule, Texas 4, Washington 5, Bama 12, Michigan 56, Florida State 61. Yeah. Get the computers out.
Great, dude. Cool. We don't use computers anymore. Get over it. We don't use computers anymore. We have a college football playoff committee that is subjective and is tasked with getting the 4 best teams. And by the way, that argument doesn't hold up for Florida State, because Florida State's 55th in the nation for strength of schedule. So that doesn't exactly work for you.
This comes down to human beings made a decision that you don't like. That's
Precisely.
what it is. Dakota Tubbs, Eli Drinkwitz, who I thought really embarrassed himself. I thought after the season that Missouri had, I feel like he humiliated himself. I truly, truly do. Has Connor Stallions on speed dial. He made a joke about, I just think it's embarrassing, dude. That was not Missouri's finest moment. You're going to play Ohio State, so you're going to take a jab at Michigan. I
don't know that.
Maybe I don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. Again, I could be wrong. I didn't get the sense he was even trying to take a jab at Michigan with it.
Oh, please.
I think what he was doing is he was merely pointing out that, hey, we're playing Ohio State. Let me make
Connor
a joke
Stallions
about it.
calling. I have to go.
Yeah, he was making a joke about, hey, we're playing Ohio State, and he was joking about the whole situation.
I thought it was in bad form. I thought it was in bad form. Again,
I mean, there haven't been, to your point, there haven't been a lot of other coaches that have brought up
because you don't talk about it.
Even the name Connor Stallions.
Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's clean. Eli, what skeletons are in your closet? Like you just don't do that. I thought it was in bad form. But again, I have no sense of humor and I'm old, remember? And I'm supposedly Mormon. I'm not.
You don't always have to be negative.
And I'm going to die soon. Don't forget that part too. Appreciate you. If FSU wants to blame your commissioner. He was one of 3 that voted to start the 12-team playoff next year. You could add a 12-team playoff this year, by the way. And the ACC voted against it. So FSU will get 0 credit for beating an unmotivated Georgia team in the bowl, MJ Bissett says.
Well, I got news. I don't think they're unmotivated, my man.
I don't think Georgia's unmotivated at all. I could be wrong. Midnight Magic Musings, a member for 6 months on the show.
Let's go, baby.
When can we talk Liberty Bowl?
Why are we talking? Why, dude?
I actually
think
some of the Liberty or some of the bowl matchups this year have been very good. And I would appreciate it if you would call it the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. With Memphis and Iowa State. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I just saw the AutoZone banner. It is what it is, right? Eric Wasikowski from
Wasikowski.
He's from Plymouth Canton.
Yeah.
The Jets versus Falcons was more entertaining. Let's not get carried away.
Hey, we're focused on the Jets today.
Let's not get carried away. Did you guys hear that Zachy Poo is begging the Jets to let him get another shot at quarterback? Begging.
Yes.
You can beg, my man, but I don't think they're going to give you a shot. I don't. I mean, the only shot you should probably be after is from Bucked Up, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. Bucked Up Energy, the official energy product you guys know by now, is Buckshot. And our fine friends at Bucked Up also gave us an extension on the sample. We've given so many people 6 free samples of Buckshot, which, elite ingredients, 200 milligrams of naturally sourced caffeine. So it's not chemicals that create a reaction similar to caffeine, which you can find in many other energy shots. No. 200 milligrams naturally sourced caffeine with a bunch of brain food that gives you a nice little rise mentally so you can get through that last pivot table on your Excel spreadsheet, that last big presentation, the sales meeting. You got to go pick the kids up, and maybe you're a little short on patience today. Hit a Buckshot 20 minutes before you pick the kids up. You're going to feel great. You're going to do great. Buckshot is designed so that you can have your best day every day. Usually 20 minutes ago, but every day at this time on the show, we pop when the spit is strong. Yeah, Bucked Up Energy, the presenting sponsor of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship over this past weekend. That takes some balls.
I don't have those balls.
Did you guys see some of the visuals out of the BKFC, it's called?
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Put on some gloves. That is that is amazing. But get in the description below. Get your 6 free Buckshots. They'll send them right to your front door for free. Hook it up, buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. I admittedly am a little turned up from the weekend on this Florida State story.
Well, it's just, we've never really seen this, I don't feel like, to this level. It's becoming more commonplace for, it's almost like we have a corporate company, employment tree happening in each of these states where it's like, oh, senator, AD, head coach, quarterback, all putting out statements. Like, great, dude. You can put out 100 statements. It's not changing the result. And by the way, the other thing that I think is funny, they're all asking for transparency and we demand answers. Did he not go on TV and tell you exactly why? Did he not say, hey, Jordan Travis is injured and we felt like that really hurt the Seminoles' ability on offense. And we felt like because of that, Texas and Alabama were better candidates for the college football playoff this year. Did he not explicitly say that? Like he did. So what do you mean you want transparency? You got transparency.
I want the truth.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
he said Liberty Flames. Did he really say Liberty? Oh, I'm sorry. You did. When can we talk Liberty football? Well, they're going to the Fiesta Bowl against Dan Lanning and his poor clock management.
dude.
Because it's garbage.
I like Dan Lanning's spirit, but that would make me crazy. That is the Verbo Fiesta Bowl,
Dude,
which
get
is
it right.
January 1st. In Tempe. That's going to be interesting. In Glendale, Arizona, at the Cardinal Stadium, State Farm Stadium.
Oh, darn. It's not at Mountain America Credit Union Field.
No, Oregon's a 14.5-point favorite.
But they suck. Why would, they're terrible.
I feel like Liberty had a great season, and that's all over with now. Maybe you can be Tulane from last year.
That's fucking interesting, man.
Maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be fun to see. Let's see. C Black gets us
here we
$2
go.
more.
Here we go. Okay, learn me, please.
FSU beat UGA, then what? But they didn't beat you. Sorry, we got it wrong.
So you're saying
if they do beat Georgia, well, I mean, I would have to look at the line, but I'm gonna guess Georgia's a heavy favorite in that game because you're not getting Louisville and you're not getting Jack Plummer. With all due respect, I'm gonna go ahead and say that you are, and I'm looking up the number on the Orange Bowl right now, 14.5 points in Miami Gardens, Florida. Florida State is a 14.5-point dog. Here's the other problem. It's suggested by the boys in Vegas you're going to lose by 14.5. So the number is going to be in the 60s or 70s, right? No, how's 45.5 sound? So if you're going to lose, they're basically saying, yeah, we think Georgia's going to score 30 and you're going to score maybe 15.
Tell you what, let's go back to the comment. Tell you what, if you want us, I'll agree to this. You want us to say we got it wrong if Florida State beats Georgia, which is never going to happen. But let's say it did. When Georgia beats the hell out of Florida State, which is going to happen, you better be in here the next show we do talking about how, I got it wrong and I'm a Florida State homer. Oh, that's right.
What happens when Georgia beats the hell out of Florida State?
Oh, you're going to be nowhere to be found. You forgot we were doing a show, at 3:00 Mountain Standard Time. You forgot. I get it.
What?
I get it.
We're not going to lose.
I get it.
What? Let's see. Josh Holt. Hi, Josh. If FSU really feels this badly about it, they should boycott their bowl and name themselves national champions.
That's the best comment of the day so far. Just
Kevin
saying.
the Destroyer. Jackson Arnold is better freshman this year. Jackson Arnold is better. I think, and I don't want to speak off the top of my head. Let me look up them numbers.
We'll go to numbers.
I think Jackson, let's see. You can do it.
But according to Florida State fan, numbers don't matter. I mean,
I think Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold is a good quarterback. I think if you believe it's going to be easy to replace Dylan Gabriel, I think you should stop huffing paint. Because if my internet was not terribly slow, I will speak off the top of my head. I believe he only played in one game. I'm pretty certain 1 or 2 games. Like, it's a very small sample size, Jason Kuhn, Monty, the ESPN Disney not owning the college football playoff and pays the committee is ridiculous. Well, they don't own, nobody said they own it. They're partners, right? Because the college football playoff is on the ESPN family of networks. So they're partners. I'll read them. Kurt is doing his spin doc job, PR job. You fall for it. But is he wrong? So when Kirk Herbstreit says their job, which everybody agrees with, your job is to put the 4 best teams in the college football playoff. Again, I'm just asking you, because this is Kirk Herbstreit. This is him spinning, right? Like he couldn't possibly be telling the truth, or is he?
So as a guy who calls these games, I don't want to do the right thing. If you talk to Bill Hancock, and we had lots of meetings about this, they're not supposed to do the right thing. They're supposed to, their job is put the best 4 teams in the playoff. Now, again, it's subjective. Who you think and I think are the best 4 are different, and that's fine. But that's what that group is supposed to do. Not what do we think about ratings? That's bullshit. Put the fucking best 4 teams in the game.
Treat snoring and sleep apnea with no masks and no tubes. Just better, healthier sleep with Sound Sleep Medical. Use code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, to schedule a free sleep assessment today.
So wait, Kirk Herbstreit is spinning. So he just said, well, they should not be concerned about ratings. Put the 4 best teams in. So you're saying that's not what he means. He means be worried about ratings. So
that's bullshit.
So you're saying again, and I know I'm the master of the obvious here. I'm not very bright.
Right.
Right? Just little old Monty from Chicago.
Right.
I'm just asking. You're saying that Florida State isn't of national interest and wouldn't draw ratings. Because that if he's spinning, that's what, because you're saying they're only doing this for ratings. So Florida State, because of the ratings, they don't want Florida State in. Those would be low numbers. When the truth is, the selection process, really, their only mission is to put the 4 best teams in the college football playoff. That's their stated goal. So they don't consider ratings. And even if they did, can you make a case that, because Florida State draws fine.
If they were considering ratings, wouldn't Ohio State be in?
It's remarkable to me. The conspiracy theories around this whole thing are just, it's incredible. It is incredible. It is incredible. Paulo for $20. Did you see Michigan's reaction to having to play Bama instead of cakewalk over Florida State by 30? Let's see how they do against Georgia. I think it's very telling. Did you guys see that all the Michigan people were in the ballroom and they're like, all right, here come the Seminoles.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, loosen up your wrists. We got to clap nice and loud, Wolverine Nation. All right, somebody get Connor on FaceTime. He's got to be part of this. The number 4 team, Alabama. What the?
Oh, God.
They were not happy to say, oh, I love the audible. Oh, like, oh. Get Connor on the phone. Connor, where's the tape of Bama? Right? Like, that's what. And then they were like, hey, you guys, we got to clap. Oh.
I know redos.
Free Harbaugh. They were having seizures trying to clap. They were so unhappy. Well, TCU was just an aberration. We're going to beat the hell out of the Florida State Roll Tide.
That'd be America's team.
No, you're not. That's going to be. Is there anybody that's going to be rooting for Michigan? I'm not sure. Midnight said, no, I mean the Liberty Flames in the Fiesta Bowl, as we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
As we discussed. I think it's going to be fascinating. I truly do. I think.
You better not get embarrassed by Georgia, dude. I'm just telling you now.
Yeah. You guys, everybody hit the like button while we tell you hour number 2 of the Monty Show is presented by our good friends at TryDayTrading.com. TryDayTrading.com. I am so thrilled to be in their program, to be working through their systems, to learn their processes, to learn their software. The money's legit. And so many people ask me, Monty, hey, Monty, Michigan, isn't day trading a scam, Uncle Monty? It's not. Every single day, you get into the system, and for $10 charitable donation, for a $10 charitable donation, you guys, you get a 30-day free trial of their program. TryDayTrading.com. Their full-time graduates are making $1,000 a day on average. The people who do it as a side hustle, it's not their only income. The side hustle people who do it for 90 minutes in the morning, then they go to work, come home and count their bread, they're making $300 to $500 a day, you guys. That's real money that pays off your car, pays off your student loans, gets you out of that credit card debt. And I'll continue to say it. Whatever it is you complain about in your life, the answer is Try Day Trading. Hey, I'm frustrated. I can't afford to buy a house. I'm stuck in an apartment. TryDayTrading.com. You need a bigger down payment. TryDayTrading.com. My credit score is low because I have all this credit card debt. TryDayTrading.com. It is that simple. It will take you to a different level of financial capability, and it's going to cost you a $10 trial membership to figure that out. What do you spend $10 on every day? What did you spend $10 on today? Lunch, gas, like a bottle of water. I mean, I'm telling you, save $10, get your 30-day trial membership right now at TryDayTrading.com. And the best part about it is when you graduate their program and you're ready to start trading full time, you trade with Try Day Trading's money. They open up a trading account, they fund it for you, and then you, my friends, trade with their money. And when you make money with their money, you get 80% of the profit. You're like, I don't want to trade with their money. I want to trade with my money. Great, do it. You can put your own money in. You're trading with your own money. You don't give them any of it. You got 100% of the profit. But you can stay in their program for a week, a month, a year, 10 years, 100 years. It's totally up to you at TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Let's run through some of your comments because I know how passionate you guys are about the college football playoff. Jeff Woodward, thank God it's not Florida State versus Iowa in a bowl game. Battle of the punters.
The Monty Show.
We are going to, I guess, feed the ghouls, the trolls, the hyenas today a little bit because last night I got a little worn out. I'll be honest with you. And it doesn't happen often as a perfect human being. But it happened last night in the comments section here on the Showgram. All of the talk about how ESPN fixed the college football playoff and they wanted Alabama in and they wanted Florida State out. And I'm here to tell you, I am about 99% that that's just not the case. Having worked there, and I want to be fully transparent, I used to work at ESPN. I have a lot of friends who work at ESPN, and there is just as much division at ESPN over this as there is in this room, as there is over your, I don't know, our water cooler still a thing. I have a real hard time believing that ESPN was rooting for Alabama or Florida State or Georgia. I just don't see the benefit for them. And you look at the situation that they have now. Do they have 4 blue bloods in the college football playoff? Well, 3. I don't know that I'd go as far as to call Washington a blue blood. But if ESPN was going to fix the college football playoff, I certainly believe that Washington would be on the outside looking in. Now, is it advantageous that Alabama's in? Sure it is. Texas, Michigan, absolutely. Look at the TV ratings we've seen all year. But, Jake, I have a real hard time believing ESPN had any input on the decision in the college football playoff.
And the reality of the situation is ESPN is really in a position where, yeah, of course they want to put the best TV ratings together. Of course, it's their job to deliver audience. But when you think of a product like the college football playoff, everyone's going to be watching. Is it going to be less people if it's a smaller school versus a bigger school? Yeah, maybe it's going to be less people, but ultimately ESPN doesn't need to go out and find 50 million people to watch a game, and that's why they wanted Alabama. You're still going to get crazy numbers during the college football playoff, whether that was Florida State or Alabama. Now, my opinion is that Alabama versus Michigan is a damn good matchup. It is a phenomenal matchup, a better matchup than Florida State would have been able to provide, in my opinion, given their, current circumstances with the injury report. So I just think this is a very straightforward, very, A plus B equals C type situation. Again, Florida State just isn't able to justify their place in the college football playoff. And the initial reaction, or the first thing everyone's thinking, is, oh my God, 13-0 conference champion, they should automatically be in. No, they shouldn't automatically be in, because that's for next year. Right now, we have a group of human beings who apparently voted 6 to 8 times on this and went through a painstaking process to figure out that as a group, they all agree that Alabama was the better fit. And it's really that simple.
I think the funny part of this is, Florida State issued all of these statements and they were fired up that this was subjective. And how could it not be subjective when a bunch of human beings are sitting around a table arguing over college football? It's exactly what we do on this show every day.
Isn't that what we all wanted, right? Like during the BCS time, we were like, hey, we need a group of people to actually decide it. We have to be able to say, well, hey, this team is injured and this team can't do this or shouldn't justify that. Like, that's what we all wanted. And so this is a tale of, hey, Florida State fan and everyone in company is all pissed off that they suffered an untimely injury, because that's what this came down to. What no Florida State fan wants to talk about is everyone's pretty much said, hey, if you were 100% healthy and you were 13-0 and a conference champion, you'd have been in. Everyone has said that. You're not going to put Alabama in over 100% healthy ACC conference champ. But again, you had that injury. If this had been an injury to a safety, you'd still be in the college football playoff. But it's not. It's a season-ending injury to your best player, your most impactful player, the player that decides just how far you go. The player that decides whether you can compete against the best in the country. Without him, you can't. That's how much he matters.
I just don't think this is even a conversation. Is it? I mean, you look at the TV numbers from this past weekend, and if you're ESPN, I mean, yeah, are you happy that Alabama and Georgia had 17 million viewers? Yeah. But you also put Michigan number 1, and they only had 10 million viewers. Washington had 9 million viewers. Texas, who everybody else was griping about, only had 7.8 million viewers. Right? I look at FSU and Louisville; they had 7 million viewers. So why aren't you upset with Texas being in instead of Florida State? I don't know. I think you're only upset that Alabama's in because it's Alabama and it's the SEC. And hey, the SEC didn't deserve a place in the playoff. Well, yeah, they did. And I think one of the hard truths that a lot of people don't want to talk about in college football is whether you like it or not, you better learn to love it. The SEC is the best conference in college football. And how is that even arguable? How is it? How can you legit sit here and say that a one-loss Alabama conference championship team doesn't belong in the college football playoff? How are we having this argument about Alabama? You want to complain about Texas losing Oklahoma? Okay, great, let's do that. The thing that guts Florida State in that conversation, Alabama has what the committee said was the single best win of the season at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
How could it not be?
It's tough to take that away from Texas. That's also a feather in the cap of Alabama. And if you're going to put Alabama in, you're going to put Texas in. And again, I think that the single biggest argument here is you don't like the rule. Change the rule then. If you don't like the rule where they're allowed to consider injuries to your best players, change the rule.
And wouldn't it be a travesty if they didn't? I mean, if we had a situation where, a quarterbackless Florida State team's competing for a national championship, how does that help anybody? How does that, I just sit here and I say, look, man, the 4 best teams right here today got in. Just because you're undefeated in your conference champ, it really, honestly, is not helping you, because that says to the committee the ACC is soft, which it is. We all know that. The ACC is a one-team league every single year. 8 out of 10 years, it's already crowned Clemson. The other 2, Florida State decides to show up and play some football. That's what it's been. So let's not pretend that somehow the ACC is the SEC, where it's a really difficult schedule and their conference games are clearly better than your conference games. I mean, that's the thing that I can't get down with. All year long, what has Florida State said? We're better than you. We deserve more TV money. We're the best team in the country. Put us in, coach. And now, what have you done? You put up, and I'm not letting it go. You had an average-ass, mediocre performance against a really bad Clemson team at their place, and you barely scraped that thing out. And then you put on what was, I don't even think in question the worst performance of the weekend in front of the committee in that championship game, and you expect to get in. No chance. No chance. And I'm telling you, this is yet another situation where the small group of people screams louder than the masses. I don't know anybody, honestly, in my circles, anybody that we talk to who's like, yeah, wow, Florida State, man, they should be in. I haven't heard someone legit in real life say that. I've only heard it on the Twitter machine or in the comments section. It's a classic barking dog story. And I understand if Florida State fan is upset, but if Alabama is so undeserving, why is Michigan shaking in their boots knowing that they have to play them?
Yeah, that was funny. I don't know how many people saw that. The video, we talked about it yesterday. Here's a video from the Michigan essentially family room where all the players, family, staff, friends were gathered for the announcement. Here's the moment they found out they had to play Alabama.
Number 5, heartbroken. Who's number 4?
I mean, just the gasp of
Oh, dear.
horror.
Oh, my.
The gasp of horror is hysterical. And I think that shows you the top half of the SEC, I think, is better than any other conference in the country. I look at Alabama and Georgia. I think either one of them could win the college football playoff.
I mean, that struck me as a professional football game, man. You're watching that game and you're like, dude, like, they're making these tiny, minute adjustments that have huge ramifications in game, in the moment. Like clock management matters more than ever. You know, possession of the football and not giving out free passes matters more than ever in this game. And if I said to you, hey, and I can't remember the final score off the top of my head, but like a less than 20-point SEC game, a 17-14 SEC game, is that going to be a great game or a crap game? Because I'm inclined to say, just on a surface level, that's a great game. And that's why when you look at TV ratings, that game's at the top of the list, because everybody knew if Nick Saban keeps that undefeated streak going at that building, in that building, he's undefeated. He keeps that thing going, they're in the playoff. He knew it, Kirby knew it, and everybody knew it. And what did he go out and do? He got the job done.
And I think you look at these numbers, and it tells you FSU Louisville was not a game of intrigue to most people. Texas, Oklahoma State, I think Oak State was an incredible letdown. Like, just never showed up in the game, and the TV ratings bear that out.
Well, and I think the Florida State game, the trouble is everybody knew what was going to happen in that game. Everybody knew it was going to be a dog of a game. Everybody knew that Florida State was going to find a way just to kind of grind it out, because even without their quarterback, they're a better team than Louisville. And what did I get? I got a low scoring, can't even barely get a first down in the second half FSU team that barely scraped by.
And I again say, how did Louisville beat Notre Dame? Oh, Notre Dame wasn't very good this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing that Louisville,
and it's an indictment
was
on
even
Louisville
there
too.
I mean, it's wild. And again, I think hands down, by far, the SEC is the best conference in college football. And everybody can run there. Oh, well, did you see they were 1-2 against the Big 12 and it couldn't beat the ACC. Great. What does that have to do with the fact they're the best conference in college football? What does it have to do with the fact that, in my opinion, they have the two best teams in the country?
And you're out of your mind if you think reputation doesn't matter, right? Like, on some level, even if anybody tells you, hey, your past performance doesn't matter at all, I just don't believe that. The SEC has dominated the college football playoff and the college football landscape for a decade.
And even though I don't, personally, I am not a fan of Missouri, the Tigers had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their coach of the year, they had a great year. Just looking at, they're 6-2. Their defense is vastly underrated. 10-2 overall. Georgia 12-1. Right? You look at Alabama 12-1. Ole Miss 10-2. In a down year, LSU's 9-3 and accounts for one of the losses to the ACC. Like,
think about how Georgia feels. How does Georgia feel today? Dude, we got one loss. It was to Alabama, and that means we're not in the playoff.
Is Georgia having their state senators write letters and, ask for information about? No, because anyway.
They know what it is. That's
I
the thing.
agree. All right, the Monty Show, presented, of course, by our good friends at Bucked Up Energy, buckedup.com, the official energy drink of the Monty Show. And again, every day at this time we do it. And I just keep telling you, one of the main things that I use Bucked Up for and I love about it is headache. I have an hour of back and biceps at 5:30 this morning. And then, like idiots, we played a massive amount of golf this afternoon. When you have a meeting cancel, what do? Well, you go play some golf. I think I swung my golf club 200 times today. I'm feeling a little bit, have a little bit of a headache. That's nothing a buckshot can't handle. And there it is right there. Bucked Up, Buckshot, 200 milligrams of naturally sourced caffeine. And what I love about it, if you're like me and you're battling a headache today, you hit a Buckshot, and in about 10, 15 minutes, you're just going to be like, man, I feel really good. I feel better. You get a mental lift. You feel more clarity. Your headache goes away. You have the ability to focus so you can finish, again, the Excel spreadsheet, the big phone call. Maybe your kids are coming home from school and you're a little low on patience today. Maybe you and your wife, maybe you guys have been arguing and you just need a little more focus. Maybe you're trying to do something nice for her. Pop a Buckshot, have some mental clarity, get going, be the best version of yourself every single day. And if you think about your life situation, what time of day do you struggle? I know for me, when the alarm goes off at 4:55 every morning, it's tough for me to kick my legs out of bed and be like, all right, can't wait. I struggle with that. This morning, what did I do? I went downstairs, popped some pre-workout, had a great back workout today. Phenomenal back workout today. I'll do the same thing tomorrow morning, chest and triceps tomorrow. Cannot wait. And that's because Bucked Up makes products that work, because they use elite ingredients that make an elite product that does exactly what it says it's going to do. And Jake and I put our very small brains together, according to the hyenas, us small brain folks.
Right.
So some folks were complaining about the Prize Picks Giving Tuesday this week. At the end of the week, we are going to give out a what did we say the gift card was?
$100.
$100 Amazon gift card.
100.
All you have to do to qualify for that Amazon gift card is sign up for Prize Picks. Use our promo code Monty, or in the description below, click the link, make a deposit, $5, $10, whatever you want, and you're entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card at the end of the week. And people are like, well, that's I don't gamble and I don't play fantasy sports. That's not fair. Okay, it's Giving Tuesday. So on Giving Tuesday, we're going to give you a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is interact with Bucked Up. Show me you have Buckshot. Show me you have a Bucked Up energy drink. Get online and order some pre-workout. Show me that you've ordered today from Bucked Up. I got to see the date. Make sure it's today. No old recycled pictures. At the end of the show today, coming up at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, we're going to announce a $25 Amazon gift card on the show. Today, it's Giving Tuesday. I wanted to take care of everybody. I know that Christmas is here in 20 days.
Yeah, take it. See ya.
Good Lord, you guys. Christmas is 20 days from today.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. So we're trying to give you Amazon gift cards because we feel like that's a great way for you guys to spend your money. You get them as soon as the show's over. You can go Christmas shopping. All you have to do today is DM Jake. Let's have you DM Jake, SLC Jake on Twitter or Instagram. Show us that you are using Bucked Up. Whether that is, hey, I've got some in my refrigerator. Hey, shoot a video of yourself walking into a Bucked Up store. Shoot a video of yourself going into a Maverick or into an HEB or wherever you are.
Points for creativity, bro.
Order at buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. Show me you ordered something in, and we'll hook it up for you right now. $25 Amazon gift card.
Do it
on Giving Tuesday.
Do it now.
Thanks to your friends right here at the Monty Show.
Now we're gonna jump into the comments section.
Do we have to?
Well, yeah, it's part of the show, unfortunately. You know.
Oh, and a good start. A good start to the program. How about Kim Coulter, our newest member?
Let's go, baby.
Kim, let's go. Welcome to the entry-level membership. And I should also say, if you are a member of the show, you always get more opportunities to win. So if you're an entry-level member and you sign up for Prize Picks, you get 10-to-1 entries, right? If you are a top tier, so members-only content, and you enter on Prize Picks, you get
25-to-1.
25-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to include you in this.
Sorry, man. I'm just looking for portal news here. Okay.
Awesome.
Hang on.
Thank you.
Hang on. Yeah.
So 25-to-1 for our members only content, 10-to-1 for our entry level members. Kim Coulter, appreciate you very much. Cleveland Rocks for $5. Finally get to see you live and not on rerun. Doesn't get to happen very often. Hope all is well. Have a great show. Appreciate you, Cleveland Rocks.
Go.
Next time you see the king of all washcloths, make sure you tell him to come out of the booth and stand on the sideline with his teammates.
Maybe he could help, since he's such a great investment. Maybe he could follow Joe Burrow's example and be on the bench with his injured body and, showing somebody what to do.
Deshaun Watson, who's out for the year. What do you have? Shoulder surgery, I think.
Shoulder surgery.
Deshaun Watson's out for the year. He's not standing on the sideline with his teammates. He's up in a box watching games. And a lot of people are pissed about it. Get on the set. Look at Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
The great Ohio State alumni.
Joseph Lee Burrow.
Sorry, OG Gary.
Burrowhead Stadium.
An LSU guy. The great LSU Tiger. Joe Burrow.
Go Tigers.
Rocking a sling on the sideline with his teammates. Deshaun Watson is the worst contract in the history of the NFL.
Okay, we have our first entry. We're off to a good start here. I'm gonna send this to you.
Okay. Well, you do that. TH says because all other conferences do not want to acknowledge the result over the past 20 years. The Big and the ACC want to keep saying they're on par, but how can that be? The results on the field say different. They do. There's a reason that Team All SRT is back-to-back national champions. There's a reason for that because they're dominant. And there's a reason that it is not, Michigan, because Michigan doesn't win college football playoff games. And no, I'm not going to anyway. I'm not going to talk about sign stealer guy. I am not going to do it. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Our first entry for the Giving Tuesday bucked up.
So this is Dakota Tubbs at his office.
Oh, he's got the buckshot happening.
A buckshot.
He's got the buckshot happening. I like it.
Let's go,
Dakota. Look,
baby.
and he's got the Missouri Tiger head.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's an auto lose, dude. I didn't see that at first.
How about Drinkakowski winning the Coach of the Year today? Drinky Tynowitz
facial recognition.
What a year for Missouri.
Yeah.
And I am one who says going to the SEC was a mistake, but great year for Missouri.
Absolutely.
Great year. Can they continue it? We'll find out. Dakota Tubbs, you're in. Appreciate you, dude. Good luck. Hope you win. Let's see. Who else is in? DK for $10. I'm so sick of talking about all this surrounding BS and not the awesome games we have coming.
Well, we have 2 weeks till the games. That's the thing.
We
gotta
do
remember that.
But you guys, who's winning? I'm here for it in the comments section. Who's winning the college football playoff? Because I have to think it's Alabama and Texas at the end of the day.
Agreed.
Two best defenses, and I know it's a we-fence, but Alabama's defense is better.
Look at the type of effect Nick Saban has on the college football playoff if he and Sark are in the playoff. In the championship game, that is.
The coaching tree and
dude, that is legit.
I think, and this is not something we probably talk about enough. I am convinced that Steve Sarkisian is one of the best redemption stories in college football.
Hell yeah, he is.
From being somebody who is an admitted addiction, somebody that struggled with addiction with alcoholism. I mean, from the downfall at SC to the offensive coordinator at Alabama. Now he's at Texas. I mean, just an incredible resurrection of Texas football. Oddly, I think, I don't know what you guys think. I think Texas has been irrelevant for many, many years. And then you look at what Sark's done the last 2 years. I mean, it's incredible. They are to win this conference on the way out the door and potentially win a national championship on the way out the door and leaving an ATM machine for the Big 12. I mean, that's incredible.
And during
incredible.
the trophy presentation, to flat out snatch that thing from Brett Yormark the way you did after he was, and your people are chanting SEC, dude. It couldn't have been more obnoxious the way that whole thing went down for the Big 12.
Bro, how surreal is that? Like, that's
a never forget type thing, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ooh,
you know who this is?
OG Gary.
Yes,
not a question. And I love the yellow Yeti. You guys,
Yeti is awesome.
These Yeti, what do you call this?
Canteen.
These Yeti canteens. You go to Maverick here in the great state of Utah, or if you're one of our Arizonans, Nevada has Maverick as well. They have the pellet ice. You only need about that much of the pellet ice, and then it'll keep the water cold for days.
Yay!
And generally mine lasts about 5 hours. But yeah, OG Gary, my guy, let's go. And he's got the blue Raz.
Yes.
And he's got the blue Raz.
Yes.
I like it. OG Gary's in. Very much appreciate that. You guys, you want to win a $25 Amazon gift card here on Giving Tuesday on the Monty Show. All you have to do is show us that you have some bucked up. Show me you're bucked up, damn it.
Yeah.
Show me you ordered something. Show me you got a buckshot. Show me you got a can of bucked up energy. Let's hook it up.
Stay hard.
DM Jake, SLC Jake on Twitter or Instagram. 2 hours from now, we'll announce the winner. It's not very difficult. Bob Holsey, just a bunch of ESPN apologetics.
What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah,
dude?
what does that mean?
What does that mean?
So we're apologizing for ESPN. Cougar Tracks, what's up, Cougar Tracks? Good to see you. Next year's Bama, Georgia, Michigan, Texas, and auto bids, the rest can fight for 8 spots.
I think Michigan's a big question mark, whether it's their quarterback, their head coach.
Jim Harbaugh won't be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of question marks around that program.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think that Jim Harbaugh will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I truly do not. I mean, that's subjective, but I think it's going to be very difficult for the Harbinator, the khaki dad bod god,
the khaki king.
You know, I think it's going to be tough for him. Mike Smith, how are you? Whoa. Hey, no, my headache's gone, by the way.
Boom.
Already 10 minutes later, my headache's gone. Monty's show talking good about Missouri and Dakota Tubbs is not here to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Well, clearly he was listening in some capacity because he's been sending his pictures in.
Ooh, look at Matt Hergert's Denver Bronco emoji. FSU didn't lose. No, they didn't, but their quarterback is out for the year. And I think we all saw the massive impact that had on the quality of their offense. And it again, the question, and if you guys want to relive it, I'm happy to go straight to violence. I'm happy to choose violence on the show.
You don't always
today.
have to be negative.
Is Florida State one of the 4 best teams in the country?
No.
Dead silent, because they're not. You can, I mean, and I'm here for it, man. If you want to make the argument, they are.
How are you going to justify beating any of the teams that got in?
Aaron Wilson, Monty's a monster, you know.
Bro, did you just call my guy fat, dude?
He did.
Like, what the hell is that, dude?
Bob Holsey, but FSU didn't lose.
Who
right,
cares?
but are they one of the 4 best teams in the country? Right now, today? No, they're not. Boyd Lake, FSU is going to find out versus Georgia. FSU better get
That's what
ready.
I'm saying. When Georgia drops 50 on you, 45, and you can't put up 10 points, yeah, that's going to be a really good look, dude. Nice.
Mike Smith. Mike, is that your current beard, by the way? Is that your beard today? I'm curious. I actually, a big shout out to Teddy Wayman. I was texting with Teddy Wayman yesterday.
He's back on the grid.
My man's been doing some work up at a cabin in the woods. Or has he been doing some wood up in a cabin? Just north of Draper, you know. It's fine. SEC did not have enough teams for the Bulls this year. That is why it took longer to announce some of the bowls, because they had to go to the ACC and the Big 12 teams to fill it.
And why does that matter?
Well, I look at the SEC, and you have 3 in the West, you have 5 in the West, and you have 2, 4 in the East. They had 10 bowl-eligible teams. Is that not enough? Is that not enough? I mean, in the Pac, you had 2, 4, 6, 8 of your 12. If I look at, I don't know what, the ACC, you guys want to look at the Big Ten? The Big Ten had 3, 4, 5 in the East and 1, 2, 3 in the West. They had 8. But you mean, so the Big Ten didn't have enough, so they had to wait. Is that what?
That's bullshit.
Nebraska, Purdue, the fighting terrible football team I grew up loving, and the not Golden Gophers,
because it's garbage,
are not bowl eligible. Let's not forget Indiana, who's 3-9. Michigan State, who's 4-8. Come on now.
4-8.
Come on.
Down a head coach,
And then you look at the Big 12, 2, 4, 6, 8.
Who do we
9.
appreciate?
9, 5 and 7. TCU, and then the Baylor 3-9. Cincinnati 3. How is Dave Aranda not fired? If you're a Baylor fan, how are you not losing your mind?
Yeah, I need your senator to write a letter, please.
God, that's remarkable to me. It's remarkable that they did not fire him. I don't. Am I making too much out of that? Where's our Texas contingent? Adam Salamini, SEC had a losing record out of conference versus P5 teams.
Who cares?
What does that have to do with the price to get into the college football playoff?
Literally, who cares?
What? See, and I love this argument. What does that matter? What does it matter? Why is that a thing? They lost out of. Well, the funny thing is, I think the 2 best teams in the country are Alabama and Georgia. Tell me I'm wrong.
So aren't you making our point? The SEC is the best conference in the country.
I think there is no doubt they are the best conference in the country. I don't even.
Their regular season games are better than your non-con.
And I think I look at the bottom of the SEC. Who's the worst team in the SEC? Probably Vandy. Okay, I'll give you Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt can't score is their biggest problem. So, okay, I'll give you Vanderbilt. South Carolina, 5-7. I think South Carolina can beat anybody. And South Carolina is one of those teams that lost, like the North Carolina game. Losing to North Carolina was a huge problem. And then you go on that run where you lose 4 in a row to Tennessee, Florida, Missouri, and Texas A&M. And then you lose to Clemson out of conference. So 2 of those losses are on one team. Like, it just is not. And I think most people would agree that out of conference schedule does not mean your conference. Well, you ran the table. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Top to bottom, I'm taking the SEC over, like, the bottom of the ACC. Wake, Virginia, Pitt, 3-9. Can any of those 3 teams contend to win either division? Because I think if I go to again, Lane Train, I'm happy to die on the Lane Train hill. I think if you take Ole Miss at 10-2 with that offense, I think Lane Kiffin probably wins the Pac-12. I think he would in the ACC.
He'd be right there.
I think you're looking at, he's probably number 2 in the ACC. I'm not going to give him Florida State with a healthy Jordan Travis. I think that'd be a great game. But if I look at, I don't know, the Big 12, where does Ole Miss fit into the Big 12? I think they are probably number 2 behind Texas. I think Texas is better, but I think Ole Miss is number 2 in the Big 12. I think in the Big 10,
they're number 2. They're better than Kyle McCord, Ohio State.
I would agree with that, which is why Kyle McCord's not going to be at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're number 2 behind Michigan because until Michigan loses, it's a Georgia theory. Everybody gets this boner for, oh, wow, out of conference record, bro. What does that matter? Well, Utah can't win out of conference. And what is that worth when they're back-to-back Pac-12 champions? What does that mattered what? Like it's just so it is
all
such
of this over a team who's never even come close to a natty.
Yeah, it's just a simp take, dude. Like, it's just that easy. It's the easy button. Well, they're on a conference schedule. Okay, they play what, 2 or 3 out of conference games. And one of them usually is your mom's knitting circle or your dad's oil change club. Like, it's not directional Georgia Southern. That's who they're like, who cares? What, like, give me a valid reason why that matters.
Come with
I would
something
love to
better
see it.
than their non-con sucks.
Aaron Wilson gifted a membership on the Monty Show.
Thank you, Aaron.
Let's go. Appreciate that, Aaron Wilson, as always. I look at I just hate that argument.
I just haven't seen an argument that actually has legs to it. Just because you're undefeated doesn't mean you're in the college football playoff. Just because your non-con is better than the SEC's apparently doesn't mean you're in the college football playoff.
Well, and the other thing that I really struggle with is this idea that you can somehow, you can say, well, we got screwed. Okay, what rule did or process or, hey, Michigan, you got screwed, right? Okay, did you do it? Well, we're not talking about that. But you got screwed and you didn't get due process. Are you guilty? Oh, yeah, you did do it, and you never said you didn't. You realize to this day, and here we are 20 days from Christmas, Michigan is still not denied what they did. Still haven't denied it. And dropped their lawsuit and took Jim Harbaugh's 9-hour suspension. Like, who cares?
I love that you put it that way because I think it's on point. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. Anyway, RJC man, group of 5 has been eliminated from playoffs going forward. No, it hasn't. Precedent has been set, and I think that also factored in an FSU not getting into the playoffs. I totally disagree.
What precedent has been set, dude?
First of all, the G5 has an auto bid. So you remember we're talking about 5-7. Our sources, and you can say what you want about our show. I think we've been rock solid on this. We reported this months ago. 5-7 is where this is going. That's where this is going. Even before the Pac-12 officially melted down, we told you this is going to be 5-7. That would be 4 power conferences and 1 G5 and then 7 at-large bids.
Yes.
The G5 didn't lose. The G5's not ruled out. And I think the biggest question is, if we look at the college football playoff, right? And you say to yourself, well, where's the G5 representation? Well, SMU is going to be in the ACC. Just curious, did anybody notice SMU's TV ratings? I mean, they have all that money. And the collective, they pulled less than 2 million. They just edged out the MAC and Miami of Ohio and Toledo. Come on. But if you look at the G5s in the college football playoff, Liberty at 13-0, would Liberty be in? Would Liberty be the highest ranked G5 conference champion? Well, I mean, they're playing Oregon, and they did run through New Mexico State, who, by the way, anybody see New Mexico is trying to hire their former defensive coordinator, some guy with a first name Bronco Mendenhall.
Mm-hmm.
You knew he was getting a job,
mm-hmm.
right? But my point is, you have a 13-0 Liberty. That seems like Liberty would have a pretty good shot to get in.
Yeah, to say that the G5 has no access is, again, a sim take.
Well, I mean, the highest ranked G5 team would be Missouri. So,
see what he did there, because Missouri is irrelevant.
We're in the SEC, bro.
Yeah.
It's so awkward. Like, Texas A&M and Missouri are 2 of the most awkward names in the SEC. Like, it is still, am I the only one that struggles to say Texas A&M in the SEC? I'm serious. It's Nebraska in the Big Ten. I still want to say they're in the Big 8. It's still awkward to me. But I think Liberty would be in. Liberty would be in. So I don't think you can say that the G5 is locked out.
And by the way, all you hacks out there rolling out these garbage takes about FSU, I don't want to hear from you next year when you're trying to justify, the next G5 that got robbed. Oh my God, this G5 got robbed. It shouldn't have been Liberty. Okay. You didn't like this year's result and you don't like next year's result. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be next year. There's always going to be some complaining. And by the way, Florida State, two things. You damn well better show up against Georgia, and you better show out next year. You better not just be a one-hit wonder with all this noise you're making.
Red Ass says, who cares is the go-to when facts get in the way of your opinion. So I'm asking you again.
Yeah.
What are the facts of, okay, well, the SEC lost out of conference games. Cool. What are the facts? They're not the best conference in college football.
Justify who's got a better conference than the SEC, because you can't do it.
The only thing I want is, hey, the ACC has a better out-of-conference schedule. They're a better conference than the SEC. The Big Ten, that justify it. Justify it. You can't justify
All you want to do, Salamini, is you want to come in here and try to troll. And I'm telling you, we're not here for it. I'm definitely not here for it today. Bring us a actual logical take.
Yeah.
Or don't waste our time.
I think I like the thing that bothers me about sports is we all start insulting each other when we can't have a discussion about opinion based on fact. People want to conflate opinion and facts. Your opinion doesn't make it a fact that the SEC is not the best conference because they lost out of conference games.
When the fact is Florida State's strength of schedule was 55th in the nation.
It just doesn't matter. The out of conference thing has always been like it. Utah's the best example of it. They're back-to-back conference champions. Oh, but they can't beat Florida. Okay, and what does that have to do with the fact they're back-to-back champions? What does that have to do with it? How does their non-con record, how does that impact the fact that Kyle Whittingham's one of the top 5 coaches in the country? How does that impact the fact that Kyle Whittingham routinely has a top 5 defense every single year? Now, you want to crush the guy in his quarterbacks and skill position? Be my guest. He's earned that. But he's still back-to-back Pac-12 champions the last 2 years. And it's so fruitless. It's a dead-end conversation.
That's why I say there's so many people on this Florida State thing that want to just stir the pot, and they want to waste your time, and they want to try to say, oh, well, the facts don't support your opinion. When in fact, the facts support the opinion Florida State should not have been in the college football playoff. And there's no disputing that. You cannot say in your heart of heart that you believe Florida State was one of the 4 best teams in the country given the injury situation. Notice nobody nobody on this show has said, hey, even if they were healthy, they wouldn't have been in. If he was healthy and playing, they'd have been in. No doubt about it.
And just because Michigan's the number 1 team in the college football playoff, are we really going to fight for the Big Ten's honor? Is the Big Ten somehow now the best conference in the country? Come on. You're better than that. The Big was just as bad as the ACC if they want to really complain about how the playoff committee chose teams. UM's schedule is not good, even beating 38th ranked Ohio State offense is their best win. It's not. And now it's over, but the Big Ten's been a joke for how many years?
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten's been just as bad as the ACC has been. I mean, the conversation about those two conferences has always been, hey, it's 1 or 2 teams winning the conference every single year.
Yeah.
And it's worse in the ACC because it's pretty much been Clemson the whole time. Now, the obvious retort to that is, well, what's the SEC then? Well, the SEC has been Georgia and Alabama, but the difference is those 2 programs have had to go through hell to win their conference.
Yeah.
And the numbers say that. That's not an opinion. The numbers say that guys like Lane Train want to play in the SEC. They just do. And the numbers spill out that Nick Saban and Kirby Smart have to play tougher competition. Why do you think Nick Saban and Kirby Smart didn't want to play 10 SEC games?
Well, look at the Pac-12.
Yeah, look at the Pac-12. Same thing.
The Pac-12.
For 15 years
You guys
now?
got all pissed that I said the Pac-12 was one of the best college football conferences in the country.
No, it's not. You're a homer.
And Oregon, Washington, you look at this conference, come on. The Pac-12 was a really solid conference. You look at what the Fighting Fafitas did. There are so many great stories in the Pac-12, but because of the drama around their meltdown, nobody wants to talk about it. But yet we'll prop up Michigan and Ohio State as the best of the best. Come on now. Come on, we're better than that.
To which I say again, and this is what I think the irony in the entire college football playoff conversation is, they just showed you who they are. Michigan just showed you who they are, which is, man, we don't want to play Alabama. We wanted to play that soft-ass ACC team. We wanted to play the team with no quarterback. But the college football playoff was not about to have that type of situation.
Yeah.
If you think, and no one seems to be talking about this, and I'm talking about, the Diniches of the world, like everybody. No one's talking about the fact that you're telling me in that college football playoff room, nobody said, yeah, we're not going to give Michigan a soft ass matchup. They need to earn their way. We're not going to do, the playoff system injustice by putting a team in there that's playing with two hands behind their back. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you rather have, Florida State fan? You don't get in at all, or you get in and you get mashed by 50? Because that's what you're talking about.
I think it's an incredibly compelling conversation about should the college football playoff committee have considered Michigan's cheating scandal that is ongoing with new information coming in. I think that is an incredibly compelling conversation, and I just don't think anybody wants to have it, because I think much like me, they're tired of talking about Michigan's cheating scandal. And as soon as this bowl season's over for Michigan, I think Jim Harbaugh's gone. He's as good as gone, in my opinion. All right, giving away a $25 gift card on Giving Tuesday. All you have to do is do what Chris George did and show us that he ordered Bucked Up. He got a buckshot sampler. Hey, let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Love it. Absolutely amazing. Look at that. 2-day. Love that. It's going to Chris George in McKeesport, Pennsylvania.
Boom.
You are now entered to win the $25 gift card, as is Lamont Tucker. He's got the can of Bucked Up Energy while watching the Monty program. Let's go,
Lamont. Appreciate you,
Good
bro.
to see you, as always, Lamont. Appreciate you guys. Look at the entries coming in. We're going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card. It's Giving Tuesday, and every week we're giving away Amazon gift cards. This week you have two ways to win. Giving Tuesday, we're giving you a $25 gift card. All you have to do is interact with Bucked Up. Do what Lamont did. Do what Chris did. Do what OG Gary did. Look at our guy Dakota Tubbs.
Yes.
All you have to do is show us, hey, I've got buckshot. I went into a Bucked Up store, and creativity matters. Hey, I went to Walmart.com and ordered a case of Bucked Up. It all matters. Go to buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. And coming up in less than 2 hours now, at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, we're going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card. You could also download the Prize Picks app using the promo code Monty, where they're going to match your deposit 100%. And all you have to do is make a deposit. Deposit $10. They'll match it. You'll have $20 to play with. Send Jake a screenshot. You're entered to win $100 on Friday. How nice would $100 in shopping cash be at Amazon.com this time of year? I think it'd be pretty good.